If you are looking for a new and wonderful nonfiction book to read in the arena of holistic health and wellness, I have a great selection for you here. This is the 20 Healthy Readers Book Club list. So the year that we've just been through, we read some amazing books. I enjoyed every single one of them. So did the people in the group. And here is the list of books. I will go through them with you. And there's one more that I have on my iPad. I'm going to go through these one at a time and share what I loved about each of these books. First, we have The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, and it was really fascinating. I always try to start the year with some kind of a personal self-improvement, learning, mindfulness kind of book. And this was a great read for that. We learned so much about the different ways that happiness can impact our lives and how we are able to find those small moments that really stand out and to connect with that. So this was a great book for that. I will also share my rating system. So this book was a 3 giggle, 4 aha, 1 I love it, 1 so sad kind of book. So definitely a great read. I highly recommend it. Next up, we read Breath by James Nestor. This book was so eye-opening. Just reading his journey about how learning how to change how he breathed impacted his health, and all the science behind how much our breath has a huge impact on our very existence, learning how to sleep better, feel better, do better, simply by learning to breathe differently. This was an amazing book, and I was astonished by all the things that I learned from it. And rating system, this was a 5 aha, 2 ooh, sad, and 1 I loved it kind of book. Next up, Twinkie Deconstructed. I've been wanting to read this one for a while. This was a really fun book. Essentially, the author went on a journey to find out where all of the ingredients in a Twinkie come from. So it was funny. And we learned a lot. There's so much information that I found in this book that was really fascinating. And I think that for anyone who wants to get more into ingredients and learn about what's in what we eat, this is definitely a great read. It breaks it down in detail to learn where these things come from. Rating system. This was a 3 happy, 1 sad, 5 aha, 2 huh, and 1 kind of book. So it's good. I enjoyed it, and I'm sure you will too. Next up was First Bite by B. Wilson. I love how she writes. This was our second book that we've read in the Healthy Readers Book Club by her. And it talks about how our tastes are wrapped up in this complex web of emotions and memories and connections that we maybe don't even realize, and learning how to really develop a more mindful awareness of how we eat and why we're attracted to some of the things that we are. This was really an eye-opening book. And the rating system for this book, it was a 1 ha, 1 sad, 3 aha, 2 loves, and 2 question marks on a book. Next up, Animal Vegetable Junk by Mark Bittman. And I mostly know Mark Bittman as a cookbook author, as a writer for the New York Times. I did not realize how much investigative journalism he has done. And this was probably the most eye-opening book we read all year. It was astonishing. I actually think this is a book that should be read by everyone. And it really looks at how our food industry, our agriculture industry, and everything related to what and how we eat, how history has been changed by all of that, and how much there is that we do without realizing how much is influenced by those making decisions for us about our food. It's really mind-blowing how much we learned in this book. Rating system. This was a 9 aha, 2 5 sad, 2 interrobangs, which was like, what the? Mind blown. 2 hearts and 1 question mark kind of book. Easily the most thought-provoking book that we read all year. This was just, like I said, I think everybody needs to read this book. Next up, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. This is not a how to sleep book. There are some suggestions in there for things that you could do to make sleep better, but really it was just about why we sleep and the impact that sleep or lack thereof has on our body, on our health and wellness. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for everybody in the book club was you cannot catch up on sleep. He repeated that fact over and over again. But there's a lot of science in here that this was not a dry book. There's a lot of science, but it was very well written and fascinating look at the mechanism of sleep and what it does for us. So that was fascinating. Rating. This was an 8 aha, 3 giggle, 3 sad moment book. Next up, what Einstein told his cook. And all of these little markers here are because there's lots of recipes in this book. This is a great, funny, fun, interesting, fascinating read by Robert Wolke, who is was a Washington Post columnist. He's a professor of chemistry, and basically he just answered readers' questions about a whole weird, interesting, fascinating range of things related to do with food in the kitchen. It was really fun and very lighthearted. It was a great read. So I thought it was really well worth reading. The rating system on this one, this was a 6 smile book. There were a lot of, he's a very funny writer. 4 aha, 1 question mark, 1 kind of book. So very fun. Next up was Everything I Want to Do is Illegal by Joel Salatin. And we've read other books by him. He is such a fascinating writer, and he delves into a really interesting look at how government impacts our food and what we do, how we are able to make the choices that we are or are not, and really talks about food freedom. So this was a fascinating book. This was a 5 heart, 2 sad, 2 and 1 aha moment book. So definitely another good one. And then the last book of the year, which we just finished reading, is Braiding Sweetgrass by Rubin Kimmerer. This is a book about Indigenous wisdom. And the reason it's on my iPad is this book was so amazing. I think this was probably my favorite nonfiction read of the entire year. I really cannot say enough wonderful things about this book. The reason it's on my iPad, I have recommended it to about a dozen people, and I lent the book to a neighbor, so I don't actually have it, which means I can't give you my rating, but there were lots of hearts, lots of ahas, a number of very sad things in there. In any event, part of what I loved about this book was her voice, her gentle, guiding encouragement to look at our relationship with nature and the world around us, and how disconnected we've become from understanding that we are all part of the interdependent web of existence. And we have lost sight of that in our headlong rush into modern culture and society, and an idea that somehow we are in charge instead of being a respectful part of the system. This book was such a gentle read and an inviting, wonderful step into another culture, the indigenous culture, combined with her perspective as a plant and environmental teacher. So definitely a great read. These were 10 amazing books. We loved them. It was really fun to read them, and I am so excited to see and go through what we're going to read in the year ahead. Let me know what your thoughts are. You can comment down below. One of the things that I will share is that with the Healthy Readers Book Club, it's more than just the book. We don't just read and then get together to discuss them. I do what I call a guided tour through the book. So as the authors are talking about different things in the book, as there are perhaps studies or an opportunity to delve deeper into something that they're writing about, I go and I find it and I share it in the private book club forum so that we can all learn and really immerse ourselves in the experience of the book, taking ourselves deeper into what we're reading. And so I will put the link down below. The Healthy Readers Book Club is part of my kitchen table membership, where we have programs and community and group calls and the book club and so much more. So I'll put that link down below for you. If you're interested in just the books and you just want to find out what we're reading for next year, I would love to invite you to get a copy of the 2024 Preparedness Pantry calendar. This calendar has month by month recommendations for things that you can do to build a preparedness plan for yourself and your family. And it just so happens that I put all of the books that we're reading for next year into the calendar. So you'll have that and you could read along with us. It would be so much more fun if you were in the conversation and you were part of the Healthy Readers Book Club, so you could get the extras. And so I invite you to do that. However, if you're not ready for that kind of a commitment, then at least you would be able to read these wonderful, holistically healthy guided books with the rest of us. And so I encourage you to take a look at the calendar. I'll put that link down below as well. Thanks so much for joining me for my wrap up of the 2023 Healthy Readers Book Club. And I look forward to hearing your comments and hearing what you think about the books that we read for this year. Take care, folks. Bye.